This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I feel reborn.
Reborn?
Yeah.
Why? What? How so? Why?
I don't know. I just feel like the end of the winter is in sight.
Yeah.
And I feel like this spring's really going to be something for old Timmy.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, and I have no...
Weather-wise, or you got things planned?
I don't have no specific plans. I just have I have a feeling. There's a vibe. There's something in the air.
Yeah, there's. It only occurred to me though that we're recording this on Valentine's Day.
Yes, it's very romantic.
It is. Don't knock any of these candles over, Tim. Yeah. This place will go up like a tinderbox.
We're recording in a very small Italian restaurant in Little Italy. We're at a small circular table with a white tablecloth and too many candles.
Yeah, it's dangerous, especially with this tablecloth.
A bottle of red.
Bottle of white.
No, just bottle of red.
Yeah, I mean, two bottles of wine.
Yeah,
Come on.
Exactly. Mixing
colors
like that.
Yeah, what's he doing? Ordering two? Is that a thing? Do you do maybe white with the starters? We're having fish as a starter.
Yeah,
and
the appetizer.
Yeah, and then as a red with the entree.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe the red's a dessert wine, a sherry or something.
Yeah, maybe it's all three.
Yeah. I mean, it's also Billy Joel. He's
always drinking wine.
Yeah. He says to the waiter, a bottle of red, a bottle of white, and whatever she wants.
And then it'll be like, immediately go out to the valet and be like, see you guys later.
Give me my car keys. I'm fine. Yeah. Yeah,
he likes wine. And
he likes wine.
Driving into houses.
Right, while he may or may not be drunk. Billy Joel, a great man.
A great man. Yeah. I got to go see Billy Joel one of these days.
Yeah, we keep talking about we have to go see. Billy Joel plays every month in our city. The only city in the world that he plays in, at least reliably, he plays a few one-off shows
he'll go
nowadays.
He'll go off to Fenway Park and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should definitely go there. But I don't know. He's played 38 months in a row or something. Or even more than that,
I
right?
think more.
It's 70 or something.
Yeah, he's been doing this for years now.
Yeah. Well, we never did.
I mean, we have the eternal conundrum, I think, of buying tickets when they go on sale. But when they go on sale, it's a long, at least 6 months before the show, right? And neither of us, you don't even know what you're doing in the spring. So let alone the summer.
Well, I'd have real crackerjack plans for the springtime if I had Billy Joel tickets for April.
Yeah. Or, well, what we really need to do, and we've talked about this, but what we really need to do is look up when the next Billy Joel show is. Go to Madison Square Garden and buy tickets on StubHub, 5 minutes before the show starts. Or 5 minutes after the show starts.
I think the last time we discussed this on the show, it was a similar situation. There's a Billy Joel show at Madison Square Garden tonight. And now, now would be the perfect time for us.
Yeah.
We're recording this at 8:10 p.m.
Should we just stop and go hightail it to the garden?
We'll get there by 8:45.
Yeah.
I'm sure he takes the stage at 9.
Could work out so well. I mean, don't look up how much tickets are because, if they're cheap, then screw it. We'll put on a best of. We'll be back next week.
Boy, we really screwed ourselves on this one. The other thing about going to see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden, we have
as somebody who's never been.
Yeah. Or the thing that's been keeping me from going, because we're gonna have to pay a pretty penny for this,
right? Even if we get a good deal on tickets, it's still gonna be expensive.
Yeah, probably worth it. I haven't seen him since the River of Dreams tour, but I think it'll still be worth it. We have friends that went, but they sat in a skybox.
Yeah,
they got tickets. And now it's I can't do anything less than a skybox, a luxury box at the Billy Joel concert.
Would you rather a luxury box or front row?
I'd rather front row, but I'd
Mhm.
rather a luxury box to second row because I don't want to see any other fans.
Oh yeah, especially
I don't want to
Billy
be
Joel
behind
fans.
anybody.
Yeah. Do you think at Billy Joel concerts that's like the most drunk show at Madison Square Garden?
Everybody just coming off the Long Island Railroad.
Yeah, down in a case of whatever, what have you.
Probably a bottle of red and a bottle of white.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, everybody stumbles out of the Long Island Railroad. It's probably 90% Long Island,
Yeah.
10% Jersey. I don't know. Look, I like Billy Joel.
Me too. I love him.
Yeah. We have a complicated relationship with Billy Joel,
Yeah.
I feel like.
I mean,
as every Long
look.
Islander with a sense of taste has.
Right. And you know what? I feel, who would be perfect to write a song about that would be Billy Joel. I think Billy Joel could write like a very good song. He doesn't write new music, but he could write a very good song about like how complicated Billy Joel is for people that live on, not everybody. Some people flat out hate him. Some people unabashedly love him. We are.
And I'm going to see the man who plays the piano, but I don't like a lot of his songs.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, so you're saying he could just make a parody of an Elton John song?
What do you mean?
Is that an Elton John song?
No, I mean, I'm flattered that you think that
Oh, wow.
a melody that
it's
I
a
came
Tim
up.
original.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that was more Stranger era Joel I was
The
going
Stranger.
for. Yeah. Come on, we know what we're talking
The
about.
Stranger, a.k.a. Billy Joel.
Tom, what are we talking about this week?
This week we're talking about a place you might know from your community. No, not the firehouse.
What
No.
about the Village Hall?
No, not the village hall. No, not the elementary school.
The gazebo?
Tim, not every community has a gazebo.
Many communities
a
have
lot
gazebos.
of communities have gazebos. Not as many as you would think, though, I imagine.
A memorial bench?
Yes, you got it. This week's episode is about the memorial bench.
Man, if I got a memorial bench for someone, if I ever saw anybody sitting on that bench, I'd be like, get up.
Oh, if you got it for somebody, not if you bought it for yourself.
Yeah, I guess you can't. Is that like in the bylaws? Like if I go in and
Is that in the Bible?
it would be like, hey, I'd like to purchase a memorial bench for myself. Would they be like, sir, you can't do that? But if I'm like, look, I'll pay the $600.
You know what? I bet the point of contention would probably be, we can't have a bench that says in honor of Tim. It's going to have to say like sponsored by Tim.
Why not?
Or adopted by Tim.
But why can't I?
Hey, look.
Why did?
Bring it up. That's why you can't fight City Hall, Tim.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I plan on.
I mean,
fighting them.
I think that would probably just be like a tactic. And
What
you'd
about
be like,
in memory of Tim?
No, I think.
Well, I don't live like if I'm gonna go back to our hometown and get a memorial bench.
Yeah.
I don't live there, so
Yeah,
a lot of people
so
will
you
be
want
like,
people to just remember you.
yeah, remember Tim?
Yeah.
I mean, he's back once in a while. Thanksgiving,
Yeah, he'll be
Christmas.
back at Thanksgiving, but this bench is in memory of him.
Yeah, if you're ever
Just-
jonesing for a Tim fix, come down to the bench and reminisce.
Well, I don't think that's how it works. I think it's more like people wouldn't be thinking about you, and then they would walk by the bench and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, in memory of Tim. I remember Tim."
Yeah, either that or they'd be like, I sure miss Tim. Let me sit
No, I
on his
don't-
bench.
No, I don't think that's
and that
how
will
it
focus
works.
my thoughts on my pleasant memories of Tim.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's how like a in memory of bench for a person who's currently alive would work.
I don't know.
You're
I think we're
describing-
breaking new ground here.
Yeah, you're describing more of like a shrine or something. Like you think?
I mean, that's going.
People
My
should-
picture won't be on it, but maybe I'll put my picture on it.
Oh, that's gonna cost extra. They're not gonna let you do that
That's
for free.
fine. Look, Tom.
Would it be your
here's the
picture,
thing.
or would it be like a
etching?
like a bronze embossed thing? Yeah, or an etching or something like that.
Maybe. And an
Maybe.
eternal flame.
That never goes out.
Yeah.
Has that flame? That flame hasn't really been on the whole time, has
There's
it?
fuel.
Yeah, I know, but even still,
They just for what?
For Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hooked up a mechanism. He was the president.
No, but I'm saying, like, even with the mechanism, like, you wouldn't hear about it. You know, it wouldn't be like,
like on a particularly windy day.
Tonight
like,
on the
shit.
news. Yeah, the flame went out for a minute. Now we bring you exclusive footage of this, serviceman desperately trying to relight it.
Yeah, no, I think the Washington Post has a correspondent. It's just for the last 40 years.
Well, no, that's
just
what I'm
been
saying. Like,
I'm on the eternal flame beat.
Yeah, just waiting for that flame to go out. That's going to be the next day's headline. Nation lies. Flame went out. Eternal flame? No.
Wow, what a pithy headline.
Well, truth dies in the darkness, Tim. You gotta sometimes you gotta get right to the point.
Eternal flame. Ellipses there?
No, just straight. But no, the actual headline would be Nation Lies.
Ah.
Because it would be on all of us, because all of us.
We've all been keeping up this lie.
We were like, yeah, we're gonna make an eternal flame as a nation.
I wasn't around when I was.
Tim, I'm a year older than you. I wasn't around when Kennedy was buried either. But you know what?
That wasn't like starting the day he was buried. There were other things on people's minds, right? They were like, all right, you swear in LBJ. You figure out what we're gonna do about the Russians.
Yeah.
You figure out who killed this guy, Kennedy.
Yeah.
And
when you find the guy, make sure nobody kills him.
Yeah.
Before we can talk to him.
Yeah, and then that got all sorts of complicated. But then they're like, and you dream up a mechanism so we could have a fire that'll be there forever.
Yeah, but it was probably pretty quickly after that they came up with that idea.
Yeah, but like, it doesn't ever seem like a good time.
What do you mean?
To like do that. There's always more.
I bet it's the kind of thing that like they
more pressing matters.
Yeah, but I bet it's the kind of thing that like somebody was spitballing right after because they were like, oh man, like, has any other president been assassinated? Oh, Abraham Lincoln.
Have any other presidents been assassinated?
Yeah, it's just Lincoln and Kennedy, though, right?
No.
Who else?
Garfield?
The cat? He wasn't even the president, Tim. And he wasn't assassinated. He was murdered.
There were what?
You've done some research during the break.
Yeah, it was McKinley, too. I wasn't sure about McKinley or if he was shot and survived. But
so McKinley, Garfield, Kennedy,
and Lincoln.
Yeah, that's a
four presidents.
Yeah, that's a real piss poor batting average, huh?
Yeah,
like
for the assassins or for the presidents?
No, for the presidents.
Yeah.
You know what? That's almost a tenth.
Yeah,
less than a tenth. Maybe 8%.
Yeah, okay.
8% of presidents have been. I mean,
what percent of the general population is murdered though?
Less than 8%, and like in any job, and
they're only president for
48
but
years.
But here's the thing, Tom. It's kind of a high profile position.
Yeah.
There's probably more. I'm not sure if this has been proven, but there's probably more people gunning for you when you're president.
Yeah, but
when you're just a guy walking down the street.
But even still, like, if somebody offered you a job and they were like, "Hey, we got this new job. It's great. Required by law to let you know 8% of the people doing this have been killed." Oh, it sounds there are a lot of accidents. No, they were murdered. They were murdered. Those people.
The trade-off is that you're the most powerful person in the world.
Yeah.
But is that really true?
Yeah, I still think that's true.
We're talking about libraries today.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of which, something you could probably go look up in the library.
Yeah. Or we're not talking about presidential libraries.
No, that's a different type of library.
Yeah.
But still also a type of library if you think about it.
Yeah. It's right there in the name, Tom.
Yeah.
Libraries, you might have one in your own community there.
Yep, that's how we started talking about benches.
Yeah. Back to the bench, though.
Some libraries have memorial benches right outside.
I know. That's what I'm gunning for, Tom. That's what I got my heart set on.
I mean, that's where you want to be. That's more high traffic than a park.
Yeah, I mean,
They probably charge accordingly.
I don't know. It depends on the layout. Some libraries are probably right adjacent to a community park.
That's a nice library if it is, huh?
Yeah.
Real tranquil if you can go to the library where you have to be quiet and the park where you should be quiet.
Yeah, but guess what? You get a book out of the library, go straight to the park, read it on
you could read it out loud.
Tim Memorial bench. Maybe I'll come by, shake your hand. I would also, if I had a bench for people to remember me.
You'd come by and surprise people.
Yeah, I'd come by a lot more.
You'd come up behind them, put your hands over their eyes, and guess who?
I'll do the Bill Murray. No one will ever believe you.
Yeah, but then they'd be like, "No, they will. I was sitting on your bench."
Yeah, and you're the alive guy with a memorial bench for some reason.
Everybody knows you're here all the time. Making a big deal out of this bench that you paid, what, like $500 to put this weird engraved picture of yourself
Yeah, it's
on?
probably more than $500, my friend. But I told you, money's no object.
No.
Spare no expense when it's my memorial bench. I'll have to do some sort of fundraiser for this.
A GoFundMe.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the library.
Yeah.
Tim, me and you were both in a library together recently.
Wow. Yeah. Glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
We walked into a library together and looked at some of the books.
Yeah.
What were we doing there?
Somebody had
to... I had to return a library book,
I was going to say,
yeah.
somebody had to return a library book. I renewed my librry card while I was there.
Yeah.
We got a lot done.
A couple guys with a lot of business at the library.
Yeah. Well, we live in a great city for libraries. Would you say maybe the best city in the world for library? At least the best
I would
city
say
in America.
The best city in the world, period.
Hey, for pizza. Absolutely. Definitely the best city in America, I think, if you're talking libraries.
Yeah. I would say the funding of our library system in New York is a priority.
Yeah.
Even though the New York Public Library sends me fundraising emails 4 times a day, and also I haven't renewed my New York City Public Library card in like 3 years. I don't even have an active membership there, and they're still like, give us money.
Yeah.
For what? and I should.
This guy doesn't care enough to renew his card, but he'll probably pay up.
I should note that there are different library systems in the boroughs. Right?
Well, I was going to say that I think that that's one of the best things about New York, that you can have like multiple library cards, kind of.
Yeah, I have a Queens library card. I have a New York Public Library card, which is just Manhattan, or is it the Bronx?
I think it's just
also.
Maybe.
Is there a Bronx Public Library? I don't know. I've never lived in the Bronx.
Yeah.
And I have a Brooklyn Public Library card.
Illegitimately.
What do you mean?
You don't live in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but you're allowed to.
That's
the beauty of it.
Yeah. When I was renewing my card, some lady had a Kentucky ID, and she handed it. She was renewing her card, and she handed it to the librarian, and I was trying to whisper to the librarian, "Should I call the cops?"
And she's like, "Don't worry, Kentucky." Person doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, they're not gonna take any books out.
They'll be using the library.
So yeah, New York's great. It's got a bunch of libraries. What else about libraries?
Was that it? Was that all your notes?
No. I have a bunch of notes, but I kind of don't know where to begin.
Let's begin with my suggestions, my complaints.
For the library?
I like the library.
Did you write a personal essay for this?
My one complaint?
Uh-huh.
Too many books.
Damn.
Not really. But the floor of every library you go into, it's either like depressing or like old carpet, which is also depressing.
Well, in what other way could it be depressing?
I don't know. Get some hardwood floors.
No, that goes like hell.
What do you mean? Like the linoleum isn't like the floor. Next time you go to a public library, look at the floor. It's not gonna be. It's like
it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, you're not gonna like what you see.
Tim, when I go to the library, I'm looking at books, not the floor. You're doing it wrong.
No. Also, my other note. Actually, that's it.
I mean, you're also aware that linoleum's cheaper than hardwood flooring. Right?
I know, but it would be a nicer.
It's not that they have both options available to them, and they're like, "No, we're gonna go with the linoleum."
Well, invest it. I mean, there's a lot of books in there in every library that nobody's ever reading. Get rid of those. Sell those books. Don't buy them in the first place. Spend that on upgrading your floors.
So you think... So you were serious when you said the library has too many books. You think they're wasting money on books that they could be spending on making their floors less depressing.
I don't know, Tom. I know you're big. You think they should all have Mein Kampf just because, it's not illegal.
No, I mean, I think probably a lot of libraries do have it, Tim, but I don't have an opinion about that. I don't think they should. I mean, I don't think they shouldn't. It's fine. It's not fine.
Really
it's Mein
painted
Kampf.
you into a corner.
Yeah,
here.
Jesus Christ. I've never complained about it. I mean, I have complained about it. It's bad.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
I thought you were going to say that I think there should be a pornography section. Because I've brought that. I put that in the comment box multiple times.
That they should have pornography at the library.
A pornography section, yeah. Like you have
to walk through beads.
Yeah,
to
you have
get
to
to
walk
it.
through some hanging beads, to keep the kids. Don't put it by the kids section, of course. But
Yeah, put it on the whole other side of the library.
yeah.
I'm not in favor of this.
Well, I didn't know you hated free speech so much.
Tom, look, I know we were alive at the time, but before the internet,
Yeah.
libraries must have been like friggin' popping.
I mean, I remember libraries before the internet. They weren't necessarily popping. Like,
I was there all the time, but I was a kid. I was like, give me another Seuss.
Yeah.
Hey, another Encyclopedia Brown for this guy.
Actually, I do remember like going to the library as a kid, after my parents would come home from work, and like sometimes like it would be like after work. Like either right before or right after dinner, it would be like, oh, let's go.
Happy hour at
let's go to the library. And the library would be very crowded.
Yeah.
There would be a lot of people, I guess, like getting off of work. Like, let me see if they took my suggestion and put in that pornography section.
But what about this, Tom? Cookbooks and atlases, all this stuff that we have at our fingertips.
Oh, yeah, but...
Or planning a trip. Like, you have to, like, go and be like, okay, let's research what we can do in certain cities and
absolutely.
stuff.
I mean, you remember, as a kid, like, before the internet, having to write papers and shit. And it was just like, well, you got to go to the library and, like, boy, hopefully the thing you have to write about, the 2 books they have about it aren't already taken out
by some other kid doing the same
by
report.
some other kid doing the exact same report. Oh, God, how many times did that happen?
Oh, the goddamn time. At some point they had to be
wait until the last minute.
Yeah, at some point the library had to be like, okay, we know that like a bunch of kids have to write this report. You're not allowed to take these
check it out.
Yeah,
you got to read it in the library
or make copies. 5 cents a copy. Highway robbery.
Yeah. And just flouting copyright, making those copies. I would sell those copies outside the library.
Yeah, I would just methodically photocopy every page of every book in there, and then just go out and hawk them on the street.
I remember going to the library because the library was like the most reliable place with a photocopy machine. I remember going there just to make photocopies, not even, of things I had. My butt, for example.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
just like in a, like
they were in
an
a pretty
office
conspicuous place.
Yeah, they were right up front, right in front of the desk, but, boys will be boys.
Yeah.
No, but you can make copies there, and that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Because if you went... There were other places that had all this makes us sound like we're fucking ancient.
Yeah.
There are other places that had copy machines, but they were always like, it's behind the counter, and we have like a minimum. And like, we'll tell you how much it is after you make the copies. It was coin operated.
Yeah. You found an interesting feather on the ground? Hey, go photocopy it. It's only 5 cents. It only costs you a nickel.
And then later, you want to, tell you what. We can upsell you to a color photocopy of that if you'd like. It's going to cost you, though.
I remember when they had the color copier installed at the library, and I was just like, they've gone too far. The library's jumped the shark at this point.
This is too much. Who needs this kind of extravagance?
Yeah, upgrade the floors, not the copy machines, is what I say.
All right. So back to the library talk. We just had an extended conversation about this new laser printer I bought.
It was the most boring conversation I've ever had in my life, but I was riveted the entire time.
Yeah, like, God, we're
Jesus, we gotta put me in a home.
or put some spice in our lives.
So, Tom, the kids section at the library, when I was a kid, it was awesome. They had all different kinds of
kids,
books.
yeah,
and I was just running around. You could take out whatever books you wanted. You read them there. You bring them home.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Now, whenever I go to a library, the kids section just looks like mayhem. It's just like a bunch of kids like screaming and stuff. It's like, where is the librarian in all of this?
Yeah, even as a kid, it was like, well, the kids section, like the rules are a little bit laxer, but it was, you were still constantly being told, like, hey, you gotta be quiet. Because most libraries are pretty open floor plans.
Yeah. I don't like a library that's like different rooms. You know what I mean? Where like there's like doorways and stuff.
I don't know if I've been to too many
libraries.
Like
smaller town ones where it's been like, this is not a library. But the
floors
are all right.
This is just a bunch of rooms. Tim, the library, isn't just for books.
It's not just for bookworms.
Well, it is just for bookworms, but you can go there and take out other things. Do you know that? So, like when we were kids, I remember it being a big deal when they got videotapes.
Yeah, VHS, baby.
Yeah.
Man, this is just a old man
it's just
cast.
like, remember when? Welcome to the pilot episode of our new show. Remember when? With two old shits, two boring old men. But I remember when they started having videotapes, and I think for my parents, like they eventually caught on of like, why are we taking our kids to the freaking video store where it costs money to rent videos when like we can take them here? They watch the same dumb shit over and over anyway. And if we just tell them like, hey, we're going to go to the library, you can take out a video. Like in my mind, there was no distinction between the two. I was never like, nah, Mom, the library doesn't have new releases.
Oh, see, I was the opposite.
Really?
And I was happy that we were not no offense, a library video family. We were we were Golden Video and then Blockbuster.
I mean, we had that too. Well, yeah, I'm talking more about Golden Video era. Like once I was old enough to like movies that were coming out, like when you're like 11 or 12 and it's like, no, I want to see
Addams Family Values.
Yeah, things like that. Oh yeah, then we were at Blockbuster, but before then, when I would go there and just take out like Disney movies or whatever, it was like, oh yeah, well you can just go to the library and you can rent Penn and Teller Are Dead for the 12th time. Like I would just find weird things. I was like, I like this, I'll take it out.
Yeah.
You can only have 2 out at a time, was it?
I don't remember. I wasn't a library VHS family.
Yeah. I mean, we completely eschewed books. we just took out the videos. That was when we got library cards.
Similarly, I was never too interested in the compact disc section. I assumed it was all classical, and then one time I was like, Blues Traveler's here.
Wow, this library's cool. I remember constantly falling into the library CD trap because when we were young, God, this stinks. This whole thing stinks.
Yeah, we got to call this off. We still got time to make it to the Billy Joel show.
Oh, I wish. But
man, let's do dopes on Valentine's Day. Getting hammered at the Billy Joel show.
This is way less pathetic than talking about old times at the library. No, I remember it constantly. So when I got my first CD player, freaking CDs were like $22, and that was at the time, like in today's
that's like
with inflation, it was who knows how much. Like $22 is an insane price for a CD now, but it was even more insane back then. So I had like 2 CDs.
The Wayne's World soundtrack. Oh, those one.
I only had that on tape, unfortunately.
I had it on CD. It was pretty great.
I think I had the Wayne's World 2 soundtrack on CD.
It's all right.
Well, as at that age, we weren't baby boomers that it was like, we can upgrade when a new format comes out, we'll upgrade. It was like, I already have Wayne's World on tape.
Yeah.
That's the only copy I'll own. But I would constantly go to the CD section like, oh man, CDs that I can lend, that they'll lend me, that I can just take out of here. But yeah, it was classical music, which I would take out just like classical CDs just because it was like, that's another CD. Like meditation CDs, like relaxation CDs.
Really? As a kid, you were getting like relaxation CDs?
It was just like...
This is something
it was, it didn't cost anything, so it was like, might as well take this
free
out.
content, baby.
Yeah, and take it for a spin.
Man.
This is back before content was king.
Yeah.
A complaint I had about the library back then was that you couldn't take out magazines. You had to read the magazines there.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
It does, because they're not going to stand up to a lot of... And also, that's that content goes stale quickly.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we let this out to somebody for a week, 4 people get to read this magazine the month it comes out.
The magazines also had like an unwieldy plastic cover on them.
Big plastic cover.
Yeah.
But hey, it worked. Made
it hard to see, keep the page open to the swimsuit model you wanted to see.
Yeah, that was a big magazine, the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Do they still do that?
Sports Illustrated? Yeah, of course.
The swimsuit issue?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I assume so. I haven't
Seems
heard
like
otherwise.
That's got nothing to do with sports, though.
I think once in a while they have an athlete.
Gabby Reese, or like somebody who isn't 70 now.
Yeah, I think that's what they do. Is just once in a while they'll also be like, hey, and like check out this like Olympian who's also very attractive.
Yeah, but is that enough to support in this day and age a sports magazine just being like, ogle these ladies?
I mean, they haven't gone out of business yet.
Yeah.
I don't think it's probably...
Despite my protests.
I don't think it's probably as...
Me and the other prudes are always picketing outside the Sports Illustrated.
Outside the library. Yeah. Trying to get them not to carry it.
I know that libraries like unsubscribed from Sports Illustrated because of that. I remember reading...
I think there was like one issue in particular or something that like they were pushing the boundaries of what they could get away with nudity wise.
Yeah.
I think it was that one where they were like, hey, check this out, these bikinis have been painted on.
I remember that year.
Yeah, because that was a big deal. It's like, what? Well, if you're painting on a bikini, then that means they're naked.
Yeah. It's a loop.
I gotta get down to the library.
Yeah, but bad news. The library canceled their subscription and wrote to Sports Illustrated about it.
Yeah. But I imagine, like, I'm sure it's not like the old days where when the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue would come out, that issue outsold the normal rate by, like 20 times or whatever. I'm sure it's like, nah, it's about the same. Like, we just have people that subscribe because they like to read articles about sports.
Right. The library also has things, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a lot of information about services and stuff.
Tim.
I feel like...
Are you doing this as a public service?
This is what I want to say.
If you don't have something interesting to say, you can just be quiet. You don't have to just...
This is what I want to say. They also have computers for people who don't have computer access.
To a computer, yeah.
The computer etiquette.
My dog is leaving. She's bored.
Yeah, I know. Why did we do this episode?
I don't know. We were very sad.
The computer etiquette at my local library is atrocious.
How so?
I had to go... I don't have a fancy laser printer like you do, Tom. So I had to go print like concert tickets there or something because I was too cheap to do it at Kinko's, and I don't trust getting into tickets on my phone.
All right. Another freaking old man thing to say.
and here's the coup de grace. Nobody was following the rules of who got to use the computer next.
It sounds like they were just all taking advantage of the dumb old man who.
Yeah, I mean it was older people that were doing it.
Good for them.
And this one guy had 2 different jackets on chairs. Come on, man. There's only 3 chairs here. You're taking up all of them.
How do you have 2 jackets?
He had 2 jackets. He was an old crazy man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was gonna say you could have said something, but you couldn't have if it was obvious crazy person, which you'll find in spades in the libraries, at least in New York.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, better in the library than on the streets.
Yeah, exactly. But the library closes. You know what I mean? Then they gotta go somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not talking about like, people that are there because they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have nowhere else to go, but.
You ever take classes at the library? Maybe we can go and learn about like computers.
Yeah, no, not in a very long time. So I used to, when I first started writing, I would go to the Brooklyn Central Library, like the
when you started your book writing career.
Yes.
So this was what, like 5 or 6 years ago?
Yeah, this is 2013. Because I had been laid off from my job and had nowhere to be ever. So I was like, well, I need to like get out of the house. I need to go somewhere. So I go to the central branch of the Brooklyn, which is, the hub of the Brooklyn Public Library, which I'm lucky enough to live within walking distance of. And that, you'll see that on television shows sometimes or movies.
Like Quantico.
Like Quantum Leap, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the show you meant.
Yeah, Quantum Leap.
Beautiful, huge library. But I would go there to work, and I would like see and a great thing that they have that. They have like a room with just desks and it's like and Wi-Fi and you could just go there and you can sit down and work and they have like a little cafe. I never really bought anything there, but you could. My point being, sometimes
Jesus Christ,
sometimes I would watch classes go on, but I wouldn't participate in the.
What kind of classes? Aerobic classes? You
no,
pervert?
not boy. I wish. Not aerobic classes. Intro to computers for even older fucks than us.
When I was a kid, I went to a magic class. You could learn how to do magic tricks.
I went to a magic show at the library once. It wasn't a class.
Oh, I learned how to do a few tricks, Tom.
This guy made somebody levitate. To this day, I don't know how he did it.
Wires. Smoke and mirrors.
No, because, the library's not going to let you hang wires. They're not going to let some magician come in and start hanging wires.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like the library is just kind of like, there's a folding table over there.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes to set up, and you're going to be under these harsh fluorescent lights.
What do you call the cards? Because I'm tempted to call them library cards, but they're not. The cards that go in the sleeve that they punch the date you gotta return the book by.
Oh, they don't do that anymore, Tom.
What? I go to the library, I use the library, but I don't take books out.
It's all computerized, baby.
Yeah, but what do they call those? The cards.
Return cards, I don't know.
Man, they're not return.
Date cards?
No, they have a name. Who knows though?
I mean, a lot of libraries, Tom, didn't even have those cards. They stamped right in the book.
What? That's disgusting. What if the book gets taken out more times than they've got room to stamp?
Like, burn it and buy a new one.
One time I misunderstood. I think it's like a very early memory, like a class field trip to the library. So it was the first time I was at the library without a parent to help me.
Whoa.
And I misunderstood when they explained the cards, and I thought we could only take out books that already had a card in that little pocket.
Yeah. And none of them do.
And none of them do. And I couldn't find one that did, and I started crying.
Well, that's probably what I would have done.
Yeah. And then, somebody like a librarian noticed I was crying. They asked why, and I explained, and they were like, you dumb shit.
Yeah, librarians are so mean.
You got to find a book that doesn't have a card in it, you moron.
Yeah. You mook.
Yeah, they were like, boy, we gotta get this kid some books. He's a grade A idiot.
Yeah, and you read a lot of books, and now you're the smart man that you are today.
Smartest man alive. I remember as a young teen, speaking of the internet, the one of the first internet services I had was provided by the library. They had like a dial-up internet service
that you could use at your home.
That you could use at your home. You're only allowed a small number of hours on it. I think like if you called in, it was like, well, that's it. Like one person's connected. There were like 2 different numbers you could dial into. And it was only text-based. Jesus. Again.
Yeah, why are we talking about this?
So old. It was only text-based, but then I found a program that would use that kind of connection, that type of connection, and turn it into like a web, like an actual like web browser connection. Mm-hmm. But it took everything took a long time back then. But this, because it was like going through this like transformation process, it would take 20 minutes for a web page to load up.
I'm sorry to hear that, Tom.
Yeah.
This is riveting, though. Hey, what about librarians, huh? Let your hair down. Oh, you got your hair up, and you're always shushing people.
Yeah, let your hair down.
It'd be beautiful if you just let your hair down.
Your hair. Hey, take that pencil out of your hair. Take those glasses off. And then maybe finally everybody will see just how beautiful you are.
I think that's a librarians are a thing that Nickelodeon, the TV channel. No, they didn't sexualize them. They put out propaganda, much like they did with with Brussels sprouts.
Yeah,
where it's like all kids hate Brussels sprouts, and then like you realize like but like the librarian was always this evil, mean old lady that was always shushing everybody, and like this authority figure that like was like cruel for no reason and just kind of like unfriendly, and then you go there and everybody was so nice. All the
as a kid I never had like a bad run-in with a librarian. I was maybe like disciplined once or twice, not in like I wasn't spanked or anything, but
nobody said.
Well, I was spanked once or twice by a librarian, but it was only because I deserved it. Yeah, I think Nickelodeon was afraid to go after teachers because they realized like, but teachers, like they have unions and stuff. They could really they can retaliate.
Yeah.
But it's like, most schools like probably only have like maybe 1 or 2 librarians, so we can pick on them.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do about it? They can't organize in numbers.
The school library, I was always like, don't waste my time.
Yeah, school library. It was always like a weird selection of things. The school library, now there's where you can find some real freaking out-of-date books, some real old books.
And there's some stuff written in there from previous students that are you get a nice little education from those themselves.
Yeah, you find
learned a lot of colorful words in there.
Yeah, and drawings.
Yeah?
Yeah, the books at the school library were always in way worse condition than the regular library. I don't know if that's still the case.
Hey, write in. Please don't write about the library to us.
The library has video games now.
Is that true?
It is
I heard
true.
A rumor that this was the case.
It's true. You can take out video games at the damn library. I alluded this
rotten everybody's dang brains, if you ask me.
I had alluded to this earlier, but I use the library a lot for ebooks. You can take out
electronic books,
and they'll send it right to your Kindle or
right
you
to
can
your Kindle or your Nook
or your tablet. Same thing with audiobooks. You can take out audiobooks from the library.
Can I say something about audiobooks?
Uh-huh.
They're not real books.
They are real books, Tim.
It's listening to somebody read you a story.
Yeah, which is great. It's even better than reading.
What do you do with your eyes?
Yeah,
I always get distracted by things that I see when I'm listening to audiobooks.
I roll them back in my head so I don't get distracted.
Yeah.
And movies. There's this service, Canopy with a K. It's like a regular streaming service, and you can watch stuff from the library.
Yeah, and they got a lot of stuff on there, a lot of movies and stuff. But here's the thing. They limit you to, 5 movies a month or something?
Yeah, have you ever hit that limit?
I've never watched a movie there because I always scroll through them, and I'm always like,
hitting the limit.
And you get 5 movies a month, and I'm always like, well, I don't want to waste. I don't know if this is the ultimate movie that is worth it.
What if I watch
waste all these?
What if I watch this movie and then next week they put up all the Police Academy movies?
Yeah, then I'm screwed. They also have you know what? They
also
library...
have Microfiche.
Yeah, Microfiche. Do they still do that?
If you're looking up an old murder case or something.
Yeah, it's a card made of transparent film used to store printed information in a miniaturized form, and then you put it in this thing, and it's a magnifier of it.
Yeah, I remember using that as a kid for not for fun, but for projects or whatever. You have to look up old things. It was a very inefficient method compared to what we have now.
But they have potentially longer lifespan than digital storage, Tom.
But you could just copy something this hard drive's gonna fail. Let's copy it.
How do you know it's gonna fail?
To another one. Have redundancy. Have a backup.
You're redundant. Everything you ever said in your whole life is redundant.
It's fine, Tim. Then that means I'm safe. I have backups.
Tonight we're not gonna get into the Dewey Decimal System. That's whole
its
other
own
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about? Do we have enough time to talk about library transfers, interlibrary transfers?
God, what are we doing? Why are we doing this episode?
What about late fees? Boy, I hate those.
You know what? Late fees at the library. Sometimes I'll keep a book for 6 weeks later, 6 weeks longer than I'm allowed to, just because
just to show off.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, guess what? I have $1.15. Yeah, great, take it.
Yeah.
Well, suckers.
You're known to rack up 6 weeks worth of late fees and then go to the library with a sack full of pennies and just drop it on the desk.
I dump it on the desk.
Yeah, and say, hey,
115 pennies. It doesn't really take that a lot.
No, they come out pretty much instantly. They stay on the desk. It's not that many.
They go, thank you for paying for this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's fine. We accept pennies. It's legal tender.
I've been taking out a lot of books from the library, Tom. You know
I've
what?
been taking out a lot of pennies from the bank.
I want to stop looking at screens all the time, and that includes my Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to friggin' look, you feel the pages in your hands.
Yeah, but when it's a library book, you're feeling pages that a bunch of other grimy people have
but guess
put
what?
Their paws all over.
That gets your immune system up. I'm the only one that didn't get sick out of our whole group of friends this winter.
Yeah. And you think it was due to library books?
Yeah, it was all the germs from the library books. It was all the bacteria that I got. Because also before I turn every page, I lick my finger.
Oh, I didn't even think about the people that do that. I'm never touching a library book again.
It's fine. There's more bacteria on every one of your devices because you bring them all into the bathroom.
I don't bring my devices into the bathroom.
You don't bring your phone into the
bathroom?
bathroom?
I bring my phone into the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, what else am I going to do while I'm in the bathroom? But I don't bring my iPad into the bathroom. And I'll bring my iPad into the bathroom because I've cracked 2 iPad screens.
On the toilet?
Not on the toilet, but on the bathroom tiles. They've, fallen off my lap.
You rest them on your lap?
Yeah, I do.
This is
what else? Just hold them?
This is a weird technique you have.
No, it's fine. Not completely. I still have a hand on them, but it's I'm gonna, also use my leg to support this, so I'm not holding the whole thing up, Tim. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't hold an iPad up forever.
Yeah, it's true. That does take a long time.
But yeah, I have never cracked, knock on wood, an iPhone screen, but I've cracked 2 iPad screens the same way.
On the crap.
On the toilet, yeah.
All right, last words about libraries.
Old book section. Oh, a lot of times they have water fountains that have very cold water.
That was just at the one library that we went to as kids.
Yeah,
Tom.
but it always had it.
Yeah.
Very cold.
That was
delicious.
a good water fountain.
Great water
That
fountain.
was a great library.
Yeah, very good library. No, we grew up in a town with a great library. They would have, and there's another thing libraries do, book sales. I always like that when they would, sell off their books, presumably to upgrade the floors, but it never happened.
Yeah, every year they'd be like, "Don't worry, hardwood coming next year." And it's like, nope, you didn't buy enough books at the book sale.
But you go to those book sales, and they weren't trying to rip you off there. The books would be so cheap.
They're looking to get rid of these books.
Yeah,
they're like, we have too many goddamn books here.
Yeah, we're gonna look. We didn't think about this enough. We bought too many books. You might have noticed we already have a lot of books we forgot. So we bought a bunch of new books. We got to get rid of these old books. But you can go there and just buy like a ton of books for like a nickel or a dime each. The nickel or a dime, that you could have spent on a single photocopy. You could just get a whole book.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Look,
Mm-hmm.
you got to put your name on a list for new releases. That's fine. You never need to read a book right when it comes out. That book's going to be there for the rest of your life.
I'm often this happens to me constantly where like new release will be coming out. I'm like, oh man, this book sounds great. I like the author already or whatever, or it just sounds like it's right up my alley. So excited. And then I'll go to get it from the library and they'll be like, we don't have it now. And I'll immediately be like, all right, I'll read it whenever. I'll usually wind up reading that book, but like a year later, and not because it's back ordered. Just like, all right, there are other things to read.
So many other things to read. There's like thousands of books, Tom. There's like 5,000-6,000 books.
Oh, I don't know if it's
to
that
read.
many.
Yeah. Tom, do you want to solve? Hey, and that ends our salute to libraries. Thank you for listening. Tom, do you want to solve a problem?
You don't have to say it. Now people are going to turn it off. Yeah, let's solve a problem.
What, the people know? What, you think people are rushing to turn it off?
This episode? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. We've lost them long ago.
All right, let's solve a problem.
Hello, welcome to Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
We're going to solve a problem. But if you have a problem you'd like us to solve, email us at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com. Tom, this problem comes to us from a lady who doesn't want us to use her name.
All right.
What shall we call her?
Let's call her Suzanne.
Suzanne. Tim, Tom,
I almost said her real name because you said her real name right before, so that was just the name in my head. But
yeah, well,
real professional said a different name.
real smart man, Tom.
Unless Suzanne is her real name, and this is all diversion.
Yeah, because
Subterfuged.
Tim, Tom, long-time listener, second-time emailer. We probably didn't respond. We're bad at responding to emails.
I mean, we don't respond to a lot of the problems unless we respond
this is
in
our
this
response,
way.
Yeah.
People aren't writing in being like, oh, I want you to like write out a response to me.
No, some people are writing in and saying,
Sometimes they do.
pointing out like, hey, you got this thing wrong. Oh, really? No shit. We got something wrong. We're two dumb guys talking about a different thing every week that we know nothing about. Did we get everything wrong? Maybe. Probably. Love the show. I've been listening for years. I have a problem that perhaps you can help me with. I've been dating this dude, let's call him Sherman, for a little over a year.
Hopefully that's not his real name.
He's a lovely man, intelligent, thoughtful. He's an aspiring comic and writer. He's okay, a bit formulaic and dad jokey, if you ask me, but his tenacity is admirable. I am not a stand-up, nor do I wish to be, but at the risk of sounding like a braggart, I am rather funny. I am a charming, charismatic storyteller and have people cracking up all the time. Not necessarily on purpose. It's just part of my personality, I suppose. I only tell you this because it directly relates to my problem. Often, when Sherman and I are talking, he will get his phone out and make notes of my anecdotes, jokes, wording for use in his stand-up and short stories. I've told him several times that I don't like it when he steals my jokes and stories, and he should come up with his own, to which he tells me that I'm not doing stand-up, so he may as well use it as material. I do not like him presenting my ideas as his own. Like I said, I am fond of him, but this Mencia bullshit is a huge turnoff. What do I do? Thanks for your show. It's my absolute favorite. Please do not use my name. Suzanne.
Dump him immediately. I don't mean to be blunt, but like, and I know that not everybody would feel the same way, but this guy sounds like a real craphead. Get rid of him. Joke stealer.
Yeah. Here's my thing.
All right. Here's your thing as somebody who frequently steals my jokes.
I steal other people's jokes. No, you know what? Look, if you're funny and you're not an aspiring stand-up comic, which I don't think anybody should be an aspiring stand-up comic.
Yeah, just become a stand-up comic.
Yeah, but also
skip the aspiring part.
Maybe we don't need more stand-up comics.
Nah, we need more. A lot of comedy clubs empty every night.
Anyway, I say Suzanne should just embrace this. It's fine. Look.
Well, maybe he'll become like a big famous star off of her back, and then he'll be like, see you, Suzanne. I'm famous now.
Well,
I'm
why are you assuming
Jennifer Aniston?
Well, Jennifer Aniston isn't integral to his success.
Did you see Brad Pitt went to her 50th birthday party?
No.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Wow. Got high hopes for those two.
That they'll get back together?
Yeah.
Both single, I think.
You know what? I actually don't care at all.
No, you care.
They seem fine. Brad Pitt's always eating an apple, and I don't like it.
What?
He's always eating in like his shtick in movies.
Yeah,
it's
like
he's always
I'm a guy eating.
I'm just eating, and I don't want to hear people friggin' chewing.
Oh, that's why you don't
even
like
handsome
him.
men. So anyway, become a team. Right? Look, he needs you to be successful. Hopefully he'll be successful. And then, then you're entitled to 50% of the profits because you're writing the material and he's out there delivering it. Well, make your romantic relationship a business arrangement as well.
That's always the best idea. Yeah. I mean, she didn't say if he's good. She said like he's dad jokey, but I'm curious if like his delivery's good.
Yeah.
If that's what's lacking, because then in your case, sure, that might be no, he's got great delivery. He just sucks as a writer.
Right.
I have no interest in performing, but I am a funny person.
The other thing is,
if
you've frequently told him, if you've told him even once,
yeah,
like, I don't want you to do this, don't do this, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
maybe he's a jerk.
Not maybe, he is a jerk. And I was gonna say the fact that to pull the like, well, you don't perform stand up, so I can take this.
I'm entitled to you.
Yeah, that's horseshit. Like, it doesn't matter if she performs stand up or not. Like, that's still if you tell me like an idea you have for a movie and I go and write a screenplay based on that idea, I can be like, well, you didn't write it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but it's still my idea. And this is even worse because it sounds like she's giving him willingly or whatever, fully formed jokes that he's writing down and taking.
All right, if he has good delivery and he's charismatic and you think he's got
and
star
you guys
potential,
agree to, but if he's already willing to just steal from you, then
true.
that's unscrupulous. I remember, I can't remember the situation, but I remember like cracking a joke once. Now I've another example of this, but like cracking a joke once and like somebody being like, what was that again? And like I repeated the joke. And it was like one of those, it was like a thing in a group.
Was it a yo mama joke? And they said, what did you just say about my mama?
What'd you say about my mama? No, it was like, one of those things in a group, and I like had a funny turn of phrase or whatever, and like everybody's laughing, and then like one person was laughing, they're like, what was that again? They had their phone out, and they were like transcribing it, and I told them it, and then they're like, oh man, it's so funny, I just tweeted it. And I was like, were you out of your mind? Like, that's not yours. I said that, and you made
was
me.
That fuck Jerry that did that?
No, but it was like, it reminded me of that thing where it's like, you just had me repeat it so you could get the wording right, and then you tweeted it. That's your like, no law, no court in America would convict me of murder if I killed you right now.
Well, over a tweet, I think everybody would be like, all right, calm down. And how many followers does this person have? And you're going to have to name names off mic before I rule my final judgment.
I legitimately can't remember who it was. I think it was like it happened, and I like severed all ties with that person after that. But everybody knows, everybody's been in this situation. Everybody funny, like me, you, and Suzanne, have been in the situation of cracking, being in like a group or whatever, and like cracking a joke under your breath to the person next to you, and they go, and then they just repeat it at full volume.
Yeah.
Again, another like murder should be legal if somebody does that. I've been in situations like that at former jobs where like somebody did that. This name I will name for you later. Somebody did that and like got a huge like 20 people laughing at it, and I screamed like, that was mine. I said that. I'll kill you. And then everybody stopped laughing. They're like, why are you yelling? What are you screaming about?
People can piece together a lot of your backstory. Be like, well, I had to work at the library because I got laid off. I screamed, I'll kill you at a coworker because you said my joke louder than I did.
Yeah, but you know what? I wouldn't change anything.
I got some advice for Suzanne.
Okay.
Start recording all your conversations with your boyfriend.
Oh, if you're not doing that already, if you're in a relationship, get on.
Yeah.
Get with the program.
Then if he gets on Stand-Up Spotlight or something, he's telling your jokes. If he tells your jokes, you have proof that you came up with them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just real. I mean, if you're funny, Suzanne, like maybe you should get up there and.
Last thing that the world needs is another stand-up comedian.
Yeah, but at the very least, you should not let your boyfriend get away with stealing him, especially when you've told him not to. Because what if like he does get a good reaction, but he's still got his like old shitty jokes in his routine too.
Oh yeah.
And then somebody's like, "Oh, that was really funny." He's like, "Oh yeah, my girlfriend wrote a lot of that." Now you're getting all the crap jokes pinned on you too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, send us your jokes. We'll do them justice.
Yeah. Oh, we're great delivery, man.
I'd like to hear some of her jokes.
Yeah. Get your boyfriend's phone. Get the notes app, because she doesn't write down her jokes. She just she's living in the moment.
Naturally funny, yeah.
Get his notes though. We want to see these.
Get the notes. Send us the notes.
Yeah, and in the meantime, break up with them.
Thank you for writing in. And again, if you have a problem you'd like us to solve, email us at thecompleteguide2everything@gmail.com.
If you have money. Go to tcgt.com/Amazon. You can spend it on Amazon and we get some of it. You can also check out patreon.com/complete guide for our Patreon, which new and improved. Now,
we have Books the Podcast, which if you like this library show.
Yeah, you're going to love Books the Podcast, which are mini episodes, but they haven't been so mini lately.
No, they've been almost as long as these episodes.
Yeah, so check those out. Patreon.com/complete guide. You can follow the show on Facebook, Facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter at complete guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
What else?
I think you did it all jumbled. I think we're good.
If you go to Northeastern University, we're going to be doing a show there.
Yeah.
February 26th?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It's only open to students, I believe, unfortunately. Students and guests, maybe, if you know somebody that goes there. But February 26th, Northeastern University. Come see.
That's in Boston, Massachusetts.
In Boston. You can come see me and Tim.
Hey, and if you're at a college and you're on like a program board or something and you want us to do a show at your school.
Yeah. Inquire within.
Yeah. Email us. CompleteGuideToEverything@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we'll refer you to our agent.
Any final thoughts on libraries or this woman's horrible boyfriend?
I look. She told him flat out, stop doing this, and he kept doing it.
Yeah, if you're in any kind of not to get too serious, but if you're in any kind of relationship and you've told somebody multiple times not to do something. I mean, not for everything, I guess. You know, you can't be like, ugh, like I told you not to be fat. Like, and that's not good. You can't do that. But like, if they're stealing material and you've told them you don't like that, you don't want them to do that. That's fair, I think.
Yeah.
I already talked about how cold the water fountains are, right?
Yeah. At the one library.
Yeah. Well,
30 years ago.
No, I bet there's probably others that have cold water fountains. That's it. Go to your local library.
Yeah, they have a lot of services there.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.